Welcome to edgeofcode.com's series of infinite roller tutorials. If you prefer a written version of the tutorial, you can find one at edgeofcode.com. So in the previous tutorial, we started looking at using blocks rather than tiles for the terrain, and today we're just going to build on that. So first, open your infinite roller project, and then open block terrain generator. I'm going to change the name of one of the variables we made last time, previous block. I'm going to rename that as front block because that describes what we're actually using it for much better. So right click when it's highlighted, go to refactor, rename, and type in front block and press enter. And that will rename the variable wherever it shows up in a script. So save that now. Next, go back to Unity, and now we're going to create another new script. So right click in the project window, create and C# script, and call this abstract terrain generator. And open it. This will be the superclass of chunk terrain generator and block terrain generator. So we want to have any code common to both types of terrain generator in here. So delete this. And this is also an abstract class. So in this class declaration, after public, type in abstract. An abstract class can't be used in the same way as a normal class. So you can't create an instance of one. And this also means that you can't add the abstract terrain generator script to a game object. So if I save this, and I'm just going to open the scene and create a new game object, and then try and attach that script to it. It comes up with an error message saying can't add script behavior abstract terrain generator because the script class can't be abstract. Okay, so just delete that now. Abstract classes are used as base classes, and in this case we're using an abstract class because chunk terrain generator and block terrain generator will have some common functionality, and we'll need to make use of something called polymorphism, which I'll explain later. It's also an abstract class rather than something called an interface because the two subclasses will have some code in common, so we'll want to write that in here rather than twice in each of the subclasses. Abstract terrain generator is also a subclass of monobehavior, so it can use the functionality that's in monobehavior as can any subclass of abstract terrain generator. So now save the class. I'm just going to copy the name and go to block terrain generator, and rather than it being a subclass of just monobehavior, I'm going to now paste in abstract terrain generator so that block terrain generator is a subclass of it. And then do the same for chunk terrain generator. Make sure all the scripts are saved. So now that both classes inherit from the abstract class, we can think about what might want to go in here. We'll need to restart the terrain generation of both, but because of differences in the way that we create the terrain, each one will need its own method. We can allow this by creating an abstract method in this class. So it's going to be public abstract void and called restart. Using the abstract keyword here means that each of the subclasses have to override restart and provide their own functionality for this method. So save this, go to chunk terrain generator, and we have already made a restart method for this class. Since this is now implementing the abstract class's method, we need to add an extra keyword to make it work. So between public and void, type in override. So this is, like it says here, a modifier that's used to override a method, and we're overriding an empty method in abstract terrain generator. So save that now, and I'm just going to copy this line because we now need to create this method in block terrain generator. I'm going to leave it empty for now and we'll come back to it later. There will also be other methods that we need to add to Abstract Terrain Generator, but we'll do that as we go. Okay, so now open the game controller script, and at the moment we just have the chunk terrain generator doing things, so let's look to see where that's used. At the moment it's just used to restart the game, so that's where this restart method will be called. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to create a new block terrain generator variable called block terrain generator. I'm going to change this one to make sure that I'm going to change this one to make sure it describes what it is better. So chunk terrain generator. And I'm going to have another private variable, which is the abstract terrain generator. And for that one, I'm just going to call it terrain generator. No, I'm going to call it current terrain generator. So whichever one the current terrain generator is, I want to be able to restart the game. It's the current terrain generator's restart method. So this is because the current terrain generator variable has a type of abstract terrain generator, which means we can assign either the chunk terrain generator or the block terrain generator to it, because they are both subclasses of the abstract one. This is polymorphism. The subclasses of abstract terrain generator can be treated as abstract terrain generator objects. This and the fact that restart is an abstract method means that current terrain generator dot restart calls the override and restart method in the subclass that's assigned to current terrain generator. So if the current terrain generator is a block terrain generator, then this restart is this overwritten method. If current terrain generator is the chunk one, then it's this one that gets called. We'll assign the first two of these in the inspector, and as I said, we're going to use the third to help us switch between which type of terrain we want to play the game with. So to start with, add a line to the end of awake. So we want to initialize this to have one of the two types of terrain, and I'm going to initialize it to chunk terrain generator. So add that in, and I'll add a comment as well. And save it. Go back to Unity and select the game controller, and in a second, yep, we've got two slots now for block terrain generator and chunk terrain generator. So we want to put the appropriate game object on there, like that. Next we'll add a new menu button to allow the player to pick which game to play. So let's find the main menu and find the child button objects. To do that, to find an object in the scene, you just have to select it in a hierarchy, put your mouse over the scene and press F, and it will focus on the game object. So I'm going to duplicate the play button by selecting play and then pressing Ctrl and D. So now we've got a third button, and then drag it to below the first play button to change the order. So this is the order that they're in here, is the order that they're shown. And now I'm going to change the name of these. So this is going to be play chunks, and this one's going to be play blocks. And now let's change the text. So this is play infinite roller. I'm just going to add a dash chunks. Ooh. And for this one, blocks. So So next we want to change what clicking each button does, because at the moment they're just going to do the same thing because they both call play game in Menu Manager. So open Menu Manager, and I'm going to copy play game method and paste it again. And then I'm going to change the name of this method to be chunks game, and this one will be play blocks game. We'll need to make methods to set the current terrain generator in game controller when we press the button. But first, let's save the script and go back to Unity and make sure the buttons are connected to the correct piece of code. So play chunks, the method is now missing. So click on this Menu Manager and select play chunks game for this one. And the same for blocks, but find play blocks game and save. So now the chunks button will call this method and the blocks one will call this one. Next, go back to game controller and I'm going to add an enum. So enum is short for enumerator and is a set of named constants. It's used when something should only have a limited number of possible values. So for example, days of a week could be an enum called days, and it would have values of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. For us, we're going to have an enum of terrain types. So I'm going to add this here, public enum terrain type. And inside we've got two different types of terrain, chunks and blocks, because the terrain type can only be one of these two. And we'll use this to identify which one we want to play. I think we'll stop there for this tutorial. So save all of your scripts and then save the scene and the project. Next time we'll finish making the buttons play the appropriate game and we'll start looking at generating random terrain. Remember, you can download the files for this tutorial at edgeofcode.com on the downloads page, and I'll see you next time.